Hi everybody. I'm going to try to make a little quick movie review. I say quick because it's not going to be quick. I'll try. I went and saw Scorch Trials the day before it came out, so it's not even out yet. It's out tomorrow. And I want to, I need to get a lot of things out, so this is why I'm making this. I want to start by saying I thought personally it was a good movie. It was a great movie, and it has like a 7.2 rating on IMDb and a 62% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is really good for Rotten Tomatoes because anything above 50% of Rotten Tomatoes I consider is good because they're harsh. So I thought it was a great movie. It was entertaining. It kept me on the edge of my seat. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But there is a major but to that. I am a diehard Maze Runner series book fan. I loved the books. I loved the books way more than I loved the Maze, like the actual, when they started making the Maze Runner, when they started making the movies, there's only been 2 movies out. Anyway, so I was really excited when the Maze Runner came out, and the Maze Runner had its issues. There was a couple things that they needed to put in the movie just to make it a little bit more like the book, but it wasn't terrible. Scorch Trials was absolutely nothing like the book. I'm actually not even quite sure how they can say that it's based on the book. Because there was one scene that was the same, and other than that, nothing else was. And I want to just keep this, I want everyone to know this who's watching this. I did not hate the movie. I enjoyed it. I'm excited for the 3rd one. I will get the Scorch Trials as soon as it comes out on DVD and rewatch it about 20 times like I do every good movie. So I'm not saying that I hated it. I'm just saying it was a wee bit disappointing when a really, really good book gets turned into a movie and it doesn't even have the same plot. It doesn't have the same plot. So before I go on to tell you the main differences, if you have not seen the movie and don't want to know what happens, leave. Go away. I am warning you now. Go, shoo. Because I am about to spoil the hell out of this movie. Like, spoil the hell out of it. Just so you know. So I'll give you time to pause this video, go watch something else. I understand. Just come back later after you've seen it. So, the main difference. Well, there's 2 really big differences that I feel are very important. But the one that I will talk about now is that in the movie, they don't have the flare. They aren't told that they have the flare. And that's a big issue because if you remember in the book, or if you haven't read the book, I'll just tell you, Jansen comes in after they think that they've been rescued from Wicked and goes, okay, phase 2, you guys aren't done, you have something else to do. And everyone's like, oh shit, we're gonna die again. Kind of, So he goes in and tells everyone that they have 2 weeks to make it to a safe haven. And if they make it to the safe haven out in the Scorch, BT dubs, then they get the cure for the flare that they've all been given. That is what the book 2 is about. Scorch Trials. Okay? In the movie, that is non-existent. That does not happen. At all. Not even remotely close to what happens. So, honestly, I'm not sure how they can call it the Scorch Trials when in the movie, there is no trial. It's a little iffy, but So, that's the main difference. In the movie, like I told you what happens in the book, what their trial is to do in the book. In the movie, they get rescued. They think that they've got out of Wicked. Aris joins up with Thomas, and they figure out together, like I'm shortening this very, very much. They figure out together that Jansen is a part of Wicked. And so when they figure this out, they get everyone up and they escape. They try to escape. They put the whole place on lockdown. Everyone's running and shooting at them, and they're trying to escape the compound that they were sent to after being rescued from the maze, out into the Scorch. They personally, wow, that was really bad, put themselves into the Scorch. While as in the book, they are forced to go out in the Scorch. That's part of their phase 2. As you hear Ava Page say at the end of Maze Runner, phase 2 can now begin. Okay? I'm kind of hoping that Death Cure is going to come out and all of this is going to be like fixed. It's going to make sense, but I have a feeling it's not going to. So anyway, that's the big difference. Is that the Scorch Trials in the movie is not even a trial. They don't know about. They escape Wicked in the movie, rather than being forced to go out and find a safe haven for a cure for the flare that they were given. The other main difference is that Teresa in the book is not with them. Teresa is called the Betrayer, and she goes with Group B. You have the Gladers, which is boys, and one girl, which is Teresa. And then you had Group B, which is that were in a maze as well as the Gladers, but they were all girls and one boy, which is Aris. In the movie, there's a whole bunch of other mazes. There's not just Group A and Group B. There's not the Gladers and Group B. There's a whole bunch of ones and them. So that's something different. But in the book, Teresa gets with Group B to kill Thomas. Following me? If you've read the book, this all probably makes sense to you, but I'm trying to talk about this to the people who haven't read the book. So it makes sense as to what I'm saying, how it's nothing like the book. So Teresa doesn't go off. The tattoos that they get on the back of their necks, well, they have stuff there, but they don't have names. Because, Newt was the glue, Mino was the leader, Teresa was the betrayer, and Thomas was to be killed by Group B. And that's why Teresa is with Group B. A whole bunch of stuff happens in the book, trying to kill Thomas, trying to get him. They kidnapped him. That didn't happen. Teresa was not with them. With Group B. Teresa was with everyone. Every one of the Gladers. She was with Thomas and everything. The entire movie. Except for the first 10 minutes. So, that's a major difference. It's crazy. I'm trying to think, because there's so many things. Brenda, in the book, she has the flare. She's always had the flare. But there's different levels of the flare. There's full-blown. And then there's kind of your mind just kind of slowly goes and goes and goes. Well, because you remember in the book, Brenda's constantly saying, I can feel my mind going. I'm going crazy and whatnot. But in the movie, she gets bit halfway in. And that's how she gets the flare, which doesn't happen. Same with Winston of the Gladers. He gets bit. And he ends up killing himself before he turns. That didn't happen in the book. So, those are kind of the main differences. They didn't really act like the Scorch was a Scorch. They kind of were walking around the Scorch like, it was Florida or something. They didn't complain about it being really hot, which makes no sense because it's called the Scorch Trials. So how can you go into the Scorch and not be scorching? I just don't know. So I'm trying to think if there was anything really bad. The ones, Mino did get did get taken away at the very end. That happens. Mino did get struck by lightning. And the scene with Brenda and Thomas dancing at that party because they get drugged happens, and she kisses him and he goes, "You're not her," which that's word by word from the book. So that happened, but that's literally the only things that happened that were the same. There were other differences, like Harriet and Sonia from Group B. Like, there really wasn't a Group B. In the book, Group B, they were with Teresa, they met up, they were all going to the safe haven. But in the book, you hear about Harriet, Sonia, and Iris. I keep wanting to say Iris. Iris, and their Group B, and you really don't hear much about them. Harriet and Sonia are with the kind of like a rebel group that's fighting against Wicked, that ends up getting attacked because Teresa betrays Thomas and everyone and calls Wicked and gives them the location. That's the only thing that Teresa betrays them with. They give their position away, and she gets her memory back. But she doesn't betray them by trying to take Thomas or kill Thomas, or the whole Iris and Teresa being best friends thing that never happened in the movie. They don't even talk about each other in the movie. But like I said, I'm not going to talk too much. It's already been kind of too long. I do not hate the movie. I loved the movie. I liked it a lot. It's just being a very, I don't even know, just a strong fan of the books. It's kind of hard when a book just has a completely different plot. I mean, like, I can deal with certain things being changed. Every movie is going to be like that. Every book that gets made into a movie is going to have its issues like that. But not the entire plot. Not like that. So I'm really interested in what James Dashner has about it. I'm going to be really keeping my eyes out for, like, interviews with him. Like I said, it hasn't even come out in theaters for the public yet, except for unless you went to see it the day before. So it'll give it the next couple of days, and I'm really, really interested to see what other people have to say about it, and see if I'm not the only one that's outraged. See, I'm not really mad. I'm a little disappointed because it could have been awesome. It could have been fantastic. And it was just great. Fantastic, great. So let me know if you've seen it, how you thought about it. If you read the book and seen the movie, I want to know how you thought about it. If you haven't read the book but seen the movie, I want to know how you thought about it. If you haven't done anything, just let me know how you thought about it, because I recommend everyone to see it. I think it's worth it. I definitely think it's worth it. And I'm just had to get that off my chest because it hurt. So, okay, I think I'm done babbling for now. And thank you for watching and listening to my blabbering, because it's kind of gets crazy.